Real golf, real golf talk. This is Play It Where It Lies, a Bash Brothers Media golf show.
Welcome in to Play It Where It Lies, the first show, a Bash Brothers Media golf show. I'm John Wiener alongside Stuart the Gent Conway. And Stuart, it's good to have you aboard for this first season. We go a long way back.
We go a ways back.
But Play It Where It Lies is here. Golf season is here. We tee it up. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. It's great to be here. Golf season, new show, new golf season, getting out of this winter doldrums that we've all been in. I don't know where the weather's come from, you know. I normally blame the Canadians because all the cold weather comes down from there.
Canadians. It can be a thing on this show. When in doubt, blame the Canadians.
Yeah, it's not an Arctic blast, it's a Canadian blast coming down to us, keeping our golf courses closed and cold and windy and wet, sloshing around out there. So it's going to be great to be back and play some golf. First time I played on Sunday in shorts, come out and played. We can walk on the golf course without going up to our ankles in mud, and it's just a lot of fun.
Bad weather's gone. Good weather's here. Golf season is here. And Bash Brothers Media Golf Show, Play It Where It Lies, is here. Now, we're going to be on YouTube and Facebook every week. The video part of the show will also have the podcast-only version, which will be on Podbean and Google Play and iTunes and all of your podcast platforms. And, Stuart, what I'm excited about here with Play It Where It Lies is certainly getting to talk golf every week with you and with our audience, but also the idea, Play It Where It Lies, is really about two things. Is one, whether in golf or in life, there's a certain attitude, a mantra, a mindset that you could have that no matter what happens, whatever your backdrop is, whatever week it is, whatever your situation is, quite simply how you live, you throw it down and you play it where it lies.
Yes, absolutely true.
Yeah.
It defines us on the golf course as it does in life, and you're absolutely correct. We play on the golf course. We have to accept the adversity of where the ball lands up.
Yeah.
Nobody put it there but us and the ground and the trees.
Yeah. It's real
It
golf.
is where it is, And we have to do the same in life. We just accept it. And it does define us.
Yeah.
It defines us on the way that we approach it, the way we approach our way to get out of trouble. And I was going to say hazards, but I would be sent to the headmaster's office because I've now got to say penalty areas. You know,
You can say hazards on this show, man. We play it where it lies. That was our tee. We'll get into the re-tee. Obviously we tee it off. I mean, what could be more important? What could be more positive and happy than new springtime weather, new show, new golf season?
Yeah.
But I want to go to my boy Dustin Johnson. I've been documented and sort of well on record about how much I enjoy DJ's approach, and DJ has a lot of the sort of play it where it lies.
He does.
Sometimes he's played it where it lies when he shouldn't have grounded his club where it lied, and really it cost him a U.S. Open championship. But you talk about somebody who'd want to re-tee. You got the final group of the Valspar Championship on Sunday. You're in there with Paul Casey, who isn't exactly a nobody, but it's not exactly Rory McIlroy on the other side either. And DJ ejected. DJ no-showed. And for me, Stuart, it's more as a sort of a lifelong, if you want to call that, Dustin Johnson guy, it's more of the same. When you look at a situation and say, he's the best player on the field, he's in best position to succeed, he's world number one, and he is a non-factor at the end of the day on Sunday.
From the first hole, he was a non-factor. He never got into his round. He never got any rhythm going. It was the first round he's played without a birdie. To go 18 holes and not make one birdie. That's
I know, it's almost like he can stumble into birdies. He has to work hard to not make a birdie.
And he certainly had a few opportunities for birdies. It wasn't like he was putting it so far away that he couldn't make them. He had opportunities for birdies. I guess halfway through the round, it seemed to me he'd probably given up. He probably decided this one isn't for me. I'm not winning this one. So it was disappointing and surprising to me. I always felt that DJ was the one who would come through, and Casey has the moniker of being,
steely competitor,
but not Mr. Sunday.
Yeah, no, exactly, in his own right. Although it seems like maybe has done a little better on Sundays recently.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that he's had a good start to the year. He had a second and a third prior to this, Casey. So he's come on strong there. But as we said, play it as it lies. He is defined by that round of golf on that day, and he didn't come up to it, DJ. He just didn't make it happen. He didn't make the shots like Kokrak, Oosthuizen in particular, and Paul Casey.
None of whom you would even put in the same stratosphere with Dustin Johnson. And I mean, Oosthuizen is great of a swing that he has, and Paul Casey. I mean, that's the thing with DJ. And you made a point about not giving up, and I think we'll get into, again, the Players' Championship and Rory McIlroy coming up in our next segment, a new segment, Play It, Drop It, Roll It, which I think will be more sort of, big statements and predictions and questions that we have to tackle head on. But in a way that DJ, it seems like when it's not happening and it doesn't go well early, he just totally disappears. McIlroy on Sunday a few weeks ago at the Players' Championship, and this has been very out in the open, his attitude, his ability to not, just check out and not eject mentally. I think that maybe is what we saw from Rory in a way that we never see it with Dustin Johnson, and we'd wondered about McIlroy, but he took some punches early. Same day he said, this is the best guy on the field. He's the one who should win on Sunday, and it didn't look like that early on. But you give McIlroy credit, persevered through it, hit all the shots that he needed, and DJ, you're just like, man, more of the same.
As did Casey. I mean, obviously the Brit here is saying that I have a little affinity for Casey.
Yeah.
But no, DJ was a surprise. It was a surprise to me that he checked. He did appear to check out of that.
Yeah. And Stuart, we look at, we'll close the first segment as we will every week, and we hope to get, people's own submissions in this, because again, this is very much a mindset and an attitude in golf and life. But golf puts you in tough spots. You play it where it lies. What happened for you?
Oh, this week was a very positive thing that happened to me with my new set of irons.
Notice how he edited out like what irons that they were, because maybe he's ashamed to admit like what irons he's playing. Let me just say, you only have to edit it out quickly because it only takes 3 letters, and they're actually letters. One rhymes with B, one rhymes with sex, and one rhymes with E. And so, in fact, it is not those 3. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, right. So 18, not having a particularly great day, but I've come on strong on the back 9. Had a bit of a bad break, got a bit of a left kick on 18, pushed the ball behind some trees, hard pan, twigs everywhere. Just knocked away a few of the twigs from behind the ball, had no shot to the green. I was only probably about 120 yards from the green and had no shot to the green. Trees right in front of me.
This is
couldn't go
good.
out left, because there was trees there, so I couldn't fade it in. So I took my 7-iron off my back foot, aimed it way right, and hooded the 7-iron and chipped it up there to 12 feet of the hole. That's awesome. And it was just like one of the most fulfilling shots I've played in a long time.
Isn't that the most fun shot to hit? And the whole point of playing it where it lies, because you get that opportunity to hit that kind of shot.
Nice little low hook off the ground. It was terrific. Great feeling. And to get it the right distance from there as well,
I know somebody I play golf with who may or may not be producing this show who could use a lesson and hitting it and a punch out. And
I tried that once before with an 8-iron around the greens.
Just hit it low, back foot. It sounds like I know somebody who could take a cue from you. Mine was a little different, and it was one that I was pretty proud of in the end, or not proud of, and kind of happens. You hit it in a bad spot. You're not proud of that, but how do you get out of it? That's the whole point. Showed up at the golf course, no golf spikes. I was so excited to play, man. Got out there, I had no spikes. I don't have that Stuart Conway money where I live right on the golf course, so it was like 40 minutes to go back. I take golf pretty seriously, so I don't like to just show up, and I'm not one of these like flip-flops and, Chevy Chase or whatever, just go out there and knock it around. But I didn't want to buy spikes, in the course. I was just out for, play 9 anyways. Time for 9. I'm a big believer. We got out there at like 5 o'clock. We were teeing up. So I said, I'll just lace up the Vans, man. And I had my Vans. I laced them up. And Stuart, I played one of my best round of the year, which hadn't been a lot. I've only played 4 or 5 times, but it was right there around even par. I think I finished 1 over. Yeah. And for me, 5.5 handicap, that was a good round for me. And I just, I played it where it lied. In playing in my Vans, but I also think there was something to it that little bit of psychological
Yeah.
change where you
Yeah.
say, this is a silly game. This is a game that you can play, with shoes untied. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that was the little knockoff of that seriousness.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't go out there in Vans again. Maybe I should.
Maybe you should, maybe. But there's probably also in there the fact
Yeah.
that you probably swung a little easier
Yeah.
because you didn't want to fall on your butt.
I did. Well, I just said just stay out of the traps and just slap it
Stay
around.
off your ass.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Just stay off your ass, right? It's a pretty good one in its own right.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great.
But-
So
Yeah, so we took it, and so I don't know if I'll go back out with Vans in the future, but it was a
well, they might well if they sponsor you.
yeah.
they would.
Exactly. I'll throw them on in a second. I actually think they could do
They
to
could
make
do
some
that.
Vans
They
and just
they
put
could
some
do-
spikes on the
they
bottom.
could do that.
So it's a good start to Play It Where It Lies. First season, first show. He's Stuart Conway. I'm John Wiener. Again, we're brought to you by Gulf States Golf Cars. You can find it Highway 51 in Ridgeland. You can find us every week. YouTube, Facebook. Of course, that's our Bash Brothers Media pages. You can get it on Podbean, all of your podcast platforms. He's on Twitter at Conway's Clubhouse. I'm on Twitter at John Wiener BBM. And we got Play It, Drop It, Roll It coming up. Really tough spots, big statements. We got one or the other.
Okay.
This is Play It Where It Lies, a Bash Brothers Media golf show.
We know golf puts you in tough spots, so we're about to put each other in tough spots, Stuart, and see if we can play our way out of it or if we're just going to have to drop it and say no. And there may be an opportunity to roll it. I think we'll each get one roll here if we want to. We got to save it when it's really tough. It's not like the mulligan. You can kind of use it, back count it, pull it out in the 12th. Sometimes we get one roll
One
here.
roll it. Okay.
But what we're going to have here is just statements, stances, predictions, positions, and it's quite simple. If you believe it, if you say, yeah, that's right, I'm going to play it. If you say, no, that's not right, I don't want any part of it, I'm going to drop it.
Got it.
Simple enough. So our
Got
first one, we're going to look back a little bit. The Players' Championship in March was a positive move. Play it, drop it, or roll it.
Play it.
Okay.
I thought it was fantastic.
Me too.
I thought that the course conditions made it equalize the entire course for everybody. Just to see it come down on that final day. Obviously, I'm a Rory fan. I wanted to see Rory win. Quite frankly, I'd also love to see Jim Furyk win it. It would have been a great story.
What a shot that was, too,
Wow.
the walk down on 18.
Oh, yeah, and him hugging his wife and
Yeah.
tears and everything. And of course, brought back memories to me of Tom Watson at the Open. I just thought the whole tournament was a great tournament.
Do you think it would have been that way? Like, let's say the leaderboard wasn't what it was on Sunday, and there weren't that many big-name guys, John Rahm and Rory McIlroy and Furyk, within one shot of the lead. Was it only the field that it produced, or maybe it was the timing that it was produced that kind of
Well,
field?
I think the timing had a lot to do with it. Playing it early on in the season, playing it in March, given some soft conditions, which made the course a lot friendlier for some of the shorter hitters on tour, but also helped those shorter hitters who have a good precision. Brian Harman, Jim Furyk, guys out there who really played well out there. Loved it. The Players to me now as just to move on with this one in my own mind, Players to me now has become almost bigger than a major. With the field that it's got, it's not going to be a major. I don't believe it should be a major. It's the Players. I think Justin Thomas said it, that it's the Players tournament. It's their tournament. And it definitely does have the best field in golf. Yeah. And it's maybe elevated itself with this early move to becoming one that should be just separated out from everything. And
I think it's a good distinction because I'd play it also, and I agree with you at the start in that it doesn't have to be, forget about the fifth major. The majors are the majors. If you have to tell someone that you're constantly a major, you're probably not.
Correct.
But I think it's a good distinction by you and by Justin Thomas that in some ways it is the Players Tournament. It's not a major, it's not a regular season event either. It is the Players Tournament. And I thought, again, moving it to March with to go with that, the PGA Championship being in May, I've thought from the jump it was a stroke of genius almost to use the pun, stroke of genius. You could see what we did there, but it was.
It's a good one.
It was, and I thought
it didn't go over my head.
I thought nothing goes over Stewie the Gent's head. But yeah, I agree with you too. It was a major play. I thought it was a huge hit.
Oh yeah, terrific. Okay, one for you then. Rory McIlroy is your early Masters favorite.
I'm gonna drop it. I think that
Rory.
the temptation is to play it. You say he just won the Players Championship. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm a big believer, and I think this has proven time and time again. Sergio Garcia, when he won the Masters a couple years ago, it's a breakthrough. No, he's the same golfer.
Okay,
we haven't heard from him. Dustin Johnson, he wins at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. And it's a different golfer going to open the floodgates. No, same golfer. He's still the same dude. He's just not quite locked in there on Sunday for whatever reason. I don't think this changes things for McIlroy, even the Players' Championship win, any more or less than it already would have. And so, in other words, Rory wouldn't have been my favorite before or after the Players' Championship win just because of his history at Augusta National until he proves he can get over that. I'm going to go with the guy like Jordan Spieth. I think if you were to ask me, and I know Spieth, I know you're looking at me crazy, and I'm glad that we're on TV, we're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook,
wild here.
so people can see how crazy you're looking at me for. But if you ask me who I would have to bet on right now, put, whatever it's not that it's, some of us have more life savings than others here, but, if I put my life savings, which wouldn't be much, right now, it would actually be on Jordan Spieth and not Rory McIlroy.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, Rory McIlroy right now is 8-1 favorite, followed by DJ. And then, of course, we're going to have the Tiger Fest as well coming up when the Masters starts at 12-1.
That's such a sucker bet. Are we advocating
that is
anybody
a
to jump on Tiger?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you've got Spieth down there at like 20-1 right now to win. Spieth is...
Well, I don't want to make this about Spieth. It's
dead
about
last in every
Rory
category.
McIlroy though. So is it play it, drop it, or roll it for you on Rory McIlroy being the early Masters?
I'm going to
favorite?
play it.
Okay.
I'm going to play this one. And my thoughts on Rory McIlroy, definitely the fact is that this year there's been a distinct change in his attitude to the game of golf.
So I've heard.
And I think that his problem was before that he had lost his appetite to win. And I think that he's got now the opportunity, maybe his best shot that he's ever had, other than 9 holes into it a few years back.
Sure. It's a long way back. It's hard to believe it's 2000, what, 2000?
It's a long time
10,
ago.
11 that happened?
It was a long time ago.
Goodness.
Yeah. The way he's playing right now, the way his attitude and the way he's carrying himself says to me, this is the best opportunity since that time for him to win something. So I actually think that Rory McIlroy is a solid favorite to win the Masters this year.
Dustin Johnson, who we just mentioned, will never reach his full potential. Play it, drop it, roll it.
Oh, gosh,
That'd be one to roll there.
It could be a roll of that one there. Here's the thing is, I'm going to play it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to play it here is because I believe he already has reached his full potential. Mm-hmm. Dustin Johnson is going to win at least once on the PGA Tour, probably for the next 5 or 6 years. Whether he wins another major, that to me is doubtful, because he's shown a propensity to be unable to make that final round, make those crucial putts. As
he was
as
right
his
there
life
at
goes on.
Shinnecock. He's been right there a lot of times since Oakmont.
He has, and so I think he's already reached his full potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with play it. Also, I think that he has so much potential. It's otherworldly. But I think, and this is a bit of a hot take here. This may be a pull the stick segment. I think as long as his goon brother Austin is on the back, I think it's one reason that will hold Dustin Johnson up from reaching his full potential. Not to put it on Austin, but where is the I'm going to bring in Bones. I'm going to bring in Steve Williams. I think that's what people want to see, that it's hard to put your finger on it in Austin. But this is a guy who just fell down the stairs in his own right. Yeah, I mean, he just fell down the stairs and they can't figure out why. Like, we need a Mueller report on like the Johnsons falling down the stairs here. But I think it's an example of Johnson being comfortable with being comfortable.
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
I just wonder, Stuart, if he had a Steve Williams type influence on the bag from the start, week in, week out, if Sunday would change. And I think it would. I'm not saying this is Austin Johnson and not Dustin Johnson, but I think that story with Austin and the continual sort of apathy on a Sunday, win or lose, I think is tied into that somewhat. So I won't say I want to see DJ make a caddy change, but I think as there are indications that he won't do it.
No, I don't think he will either. And I think I'm going to reference here and give kudos to Club Pro Guy here right now.
Club Pro Guy.
Club
yeah,
Pro Guy just sent out a little Facebook message or tweet. I can't remember which one it was, and saying if you're looking for somebody to teach you and hold you accountable for what you do, I'm probably not your guy. That's Austin.
Yeah.
That's Austin.
Yeah.
He's not going to hold him accountable for it. He's not going to make him do anything. No. You know, he's not going to be John Rahm's caddy who says, I think you should bail out.
Wasn't that great?
You shouldn't be hitting for that green.
And I loved Rahm's caddy's expression, which is kind of like, okay, man,
there it goes.
Go ahead. I'm not winning this battle.
Okay.
So
alrighty.
We'll close with this. Just a quick one. Flag sticks in on the PGA Tour is a bad look.
Yes, it is.
You're playing that one too.
Yeah, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, it's one of those, you know, I'm a little older, a little more traditional, and I can't get myself used to the fact of putting with it in. I thought when I first saw this was a great rule, and it is a great rule. If two of you are 50 feet from the hole and you don't have to wander up there to hold the flag for somebody who's going to get within 12 feet of it, you know, I mean, and wander back again to save some time, it's not saving any time. It's a numbnut rule.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I play it, and I had the same thing that originally, conceptually, it sounded good. But then you see it, and you see somebody pull it out from 25, and then Bryson or Adam Scott goes, and they put the stick back in to put from 4 feet, and the whole thing, it just, aesthetically, it doesn't agree with you. And so,
I'm sure we'll get into rules as we go through these whole things, but... You know, the USGA has not done a lot to endear itself to me.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's one rule only on this show, and it's simply, of course, as always, play it where it lies. We'll have more. A big discussion with the big guy in office, not with him. That would be quite a feat, but it will be involving the big guy, the golfer in chief, and the world of golf. He's Stuart Conway. I'm John Wiener. This is Golf States Golf Cars edition. Let me do that again. This is Play It Where It Lies, brought to you by Gulf States Golf Cars.
Golf puts you in tough spots. We play it where it lies.
This is Stuart the Gent Conway, alongside my great friend, co-host, entrepreneur, Mr. John Wiener.
You can stop at great friend with Stuart Conway. That's enough, man. I feel like I've won.
You won the prize. You won the prize. Welcome back. Yeah. This is our first episode of this show, which I feel is going to be a terrific show.
I'm excited.
We've just got so many things to talk about. I can't see that we can maintain this as a 1 hour show once a week. But we'll go from here, John. Well, I don't know what you think.
Those sponsors want to up that money, you know what I mean? Maybe even Gulf States Golf Cars, jack it up a little bit. Yeah. Go to 2 hours. No, but that is one thing, though, Stuart, is being digital. Mm-hmm. You know, being on YouTube, being on Facebook, being on podcasts, and you can find it on certainly the video cast for our show will be on YouTube and Facebook every week, so people can see and interact with us a little more and really get into the conversation. Also, obviously on podcasts, but it will give us an opportunity to be able to dive, I think, into some more difficult topics, to do some different things where you're not constrained necessarily by the 48-12 clock, you know, in radio. And there's, you know, as we discovered when we first teamed up a while ago, and big thanks and shout out to Kevin Webb and all the guys over there at Alpha Media. It was such a great partnership, and he wishes us all the best, and we do for them over there. But we grew. We will continue to grow, you know, as we grow our listeners and audience base, and certainly, hopefully, our sponsorship base as well. But, and so on Play It Where It Lies, one of the things, again, where we'll really dive into that whole idea, is a really, the difficult conversation, a topic that not everyone may even be ready to have. And, you don't want to, I'll just say things that other people won't say, and like that's enough. That's not what I'm getting at, but just being in this medium, and I think this show will lend towards us really, really the most difficult questions, in golf. And I think it's another thing we can do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Talking about sponsors and talking about other things.
Yeah.
I think we should let everybody know again where they can get a hold of us and ask us questions. So you can get me, Stuart Conway, at Conway's Clubhouse, or
that's such an awesome Twitter handle.
Stuart at Conway's Clubhouse on email.
So Stuart at conwaysclubhouse.com
on email.
And at Conway's Clubhouse. Guys, see, this is Conway's Clubhouse thing is like it's an animal of its own, and we don't ever need to stray too far from Conway's Clubhouse. Hey. We're in a whole different scene here, as you can see. What we're gonna be is like gonna be changing all the time. We just play it where it lies, you know what I mean? But Stuart Conway with Gulf States Golf Cars, Conway's Clubhouse. Get him on Twitter at Conway's Clubhouse, and I am on Twitter at John Wiener BBM. Of course, this Play It Where It Lies, a Bash Brothers Media golf show. Encourage you to check out everything on Bash Brothers. Our YouTube page, certainly where you'll find the show, facebook.com/Bash Brothers Media, and follow us on Twitter at Bash Bros Media. And again, you can hit me up there at John Wiener BBM. So one of the things that was a part of the Conway's Clubhouse, and I think that we'll do here in our Tough Lies segment, is, the difficult questions for you, Stewie the Gent. We'll tackle them together.
Yeah.
And so I want to really just, let's just let's tee it high and let it fly right from the start. Let's let the big dog eat. And I want to talk about the big dog who, when you turn on the news and any channel, anything you read is about, read, hear, see these days is about our president.
Indeed.
The commander-in-chief, President Donald Trump.
It is.
And what's so interesting in the golf world, this was unprecedented, is Donald Trump, long before he had political aspirations, was a big factor in the game of golf in every way, from his promotion of the golf to building courses in golf, and so much of Trump's empire, of Trump's estate, was built around the golf course properties that he owned and just sort of his status in the golf business. That was even then very controversial, as seems to always be around President Trump, and none of that, Stuart, has subsided since Trump has come into office. So is Donald Trump good? Is Donald Trump still good for the game of golf?
Gosh. Donald Trump's done a lot for the game of golf. He's taken some golf courses and really made a resurgence of those golf courses, made them bigger, better. He's also, at the same time, put the cost of those golf courses out of the reach of a lot of people. And whereas I think he's good for the game because, it's that any publicity is better than no publicity. There's a lot of notoriety in the golf courses. He has a lot of controversy at his golf courses, whether it be ones in Scotland where he's cutting down the wrong trees, or he's fining women for taking a pee in the bushes, or
just
whatever.
displacing residents in their land by thousands.
And also taking the game out of the reach of more and more people. And the game is already elitist enough without that. But I still have to say that on the positive end, he keeps golf in the fore because he's an avid golfer. Whether he cheats when he plays is open to conjecture.
Yeah. Or drives the carts just right there on the green on the tee. But I guess when you're the commander-in-chief, you can drive the cart wherever the hell you want.
You can do whatever you want. You don't need to. Well, he could have a senior citizens flag on his golf cart. So I guess that will be one thing.
A lot of different flags on his golf cart. So, who knows what flag it might be on a given day, American or otherwise.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And I don't know. I know that His following is not very strong overseas, certainly not in Scotland. A lot of people don't like what he's done with there, with the land and the way he's handled himself over there. And although he believes that, Scottish people love him, they really don't.
Yeah. Although, and so what's interesting there, and I've read a lot about this, and we'll try to, in some way, reference people who are sort of more erudite and have studied it longer than I have. When he did Royal Aberdeen in Scotland, there was massive resistance, and it was a very forceful takeover of sorts in a lot of ways. And Trump was very open about, I'm going to make this the greatest golf course in the world. He still insists that it is, although most people would find 4 courses immediately around the Aberdeen area in North Scotland that they'd rather play.
It's a very lovely area.
It is a lovely area, and it is a wonderful golf course, and all of Trump's golf courses are magnificent for the most part. Now, all golf courses are different, and people like what they like. What's interesting about the transition and sort of what Trump did in Scotland specifically, he built Royal Aberdeen, and it was very hostile. When he took over Turnberry, none of that was in play. It seems as sort of contradictory and combative as President Trump can be, and Trump has been for years in his business negotiations, that he learned that you can't just piss everybody off. And I think part of it had to do with it being Turnberry.
I think a lot
you couldn't just come in and blow up Turnberry in the way that he has, even though you go, it's Trump Turnberry everywhere. You can barely even see the Turnberry name now. It's just got Trump's name everywhere.
Yeah.
But he is nothing if not savvy when it comes to business, and he learned in that respect.
Well, I think you're right, or maybe overstating the fact he learned. I think your comment on the fact that it was Turnberry made a huge difference in what it was. You don't go into Turnberry if you buy, Augusta. You're not going to go in there and make a whole lot of changes to it. I mean, it's Augusta, for goodness sake. It is what it is, and that's why you want the property. And I think he bought that more as a property that identified with his aspirations of what a golf course should be and what a golf club should be.
Yeah, you're right.
More than Aberdeen did. And Aberdeen, he was able to go in and ride roughshod over everybody, change membership plans, throw people out, do whatever he wanted to do. Turnberry was a little...
Well, but I also think, and that'll sort of lead to the final point, there's a reason Turnberry was for sale, because it was failing in terms of its solvency as a golf course. The hotel he bought for sort of a fraction of the price, and rave reviews from everybody associated at Turnberry about what Trump did with the hotel. And so it wasn't like it was a hostile takeover of Turnberry. Turnberry, the resort, the golf course, was in need of Donald Trump and his money and his vision and his wherewithal, and only a few people could come in and say, I'm going to take Turnberry and save it, and I'm going to slap my name over it, but I'm going to make Turnberry the world-class golf course that it should be. That's commendable.
That is very commendable,
And, Tom Coyne talks about this a lot. It's not only what Trump did, but when he did it in an era, and a lot of this was an opportunistic businessman seeing opportunity, but in the last 15, 20 years, certainly when no one was building new golf courses, when all golf courses were tanking and the entire industry, people were running from Stewart, Trump put money in and invested in. And so I think in the end, to answer the question, is Donald Trump good for the game of golf? I think you have to say, well, there's some negative parts. There are some, there's some complications, but I think the ultimate answer is yes.
Yes, I agree entirely. I agree. Yeah, I think he is good for the game. I say, just the matter of fact is the notoriety that he gives to the game, and when he goes into a place and what he does. Yeah, the fact that he loves to play all the time. I don't mind a president that goes play golf.
No, to be honest. Some might say stay on the golf course. Of course, now you have to have the Stewart the Gent money to be able to play most of Trump's golf courses. But it's a good start. Good start. Tough Lies on Play It Where It Lies. It's a Bash Brothers Media Golf Show. Of course, go see Sid Neal, Highway 51 in Ridgeland. That is the home of Gulf State's golf course, and this is your home for golf, real golf talk. Play It Where It Lies. We're wrapping it up when we get back.
This is Play It Where It Lies, a Bash Brothers Media golf show.
Wrapping it up on Play It Where It Lies, I'm John Wiener. He's Stuart the Gent Conway. I encourage you to follow us. Make sure you share the show. We want to get all the kind of word out about whatever you're listening, watching, looking, share, follow, like, send it out, spread it around. We're going to have some cool giveaways to go with Play It Where It Lies here in the weeks to come. Of course, we're our charter partner, Gulf States Golf Cars. Go see Sid Nail. Tell us real quick how things are going over there at Gulf States.
They're going pretty good after we had a pretty good January, and then the rains and the monsoons came, and it just sent life into a tailspin.
The weather, and it's been a tailspin for everybody. Really, in the industry.
Kind of like talking to somebody at a local golf shop who asked me how business was going. I said, "Well, we're selling as many golf cars as you are pairs of shorts."
I'm sure he liked that. I think you relished in that kind of one-liner zinger. I was playing with somebody the other day, and I had a uphill, 25-foot putt or something we were playing through. It was a nasty downhill green, and they're members. They take pride in, how fast and how difficult their courses were. And my brother, Hack and Hank, putted first. Of course, he putted it right off the green. I mean, the ball just sails. I mean,
it happens.
Thing was humming, just got quicker. It was down there in the rough, and he had been on the green. So then I hit my putt, and sure enough, bottom of the cup. And it was moving. It was going a little bit. The guy didn't say anything, and he said, "Lucky the ball hit the hole. Would have been down there by his ball." I was like, "Yeah, but it's in the bottom of the cup."
yeah, but
let's go see y'all.
That's what
I took pride in that.
Yeah, that's a good
Play
one.
It Where It Lies. Sometimes you got to punch out, so we're gonna punch out to end the show. So just kind of looking ahead. Champions Tour at Fallen Oak this week. I love it. It's one of my favorite golf events, and there is on the calendar. I'm going down there this week.
Yeah, I hope you getting the royal treatment that you got last time you were down there.
That was great last time. We'll see. We gotta get the sponsor money up again. No, it's a great tournament. It's become one of the top events.
It is a great tournament down there, and the players love it down there. They all speak very highly of Fallen Oaks, particularly the greens are always in great shape. Of course, the Fallen Oaks is, in my opinion, it's still the best golf course in the state of Mississippi. I have to tell you.
Fantastic golf course. It really is.
Yeah, it's
one of Fazio's really good courses.
It's got everything about it, and they get a great field. They get a full field down there. I followed Montgomery around last year. Montgomery, Stricker. And
Jimenez has won it,
Just
Freddie Couples won it. I think that's the first year it was there.
Yeah, so great field, great bunch of guys. Champions Tour is a lot more amenable to people talking to them and interacting and just having a darn good time, which is why we go to golf tournaments and why we love it so much. Yeah.
I encourage anyone to take a trip down there, especially if you're looking for a weekend getaway experience. Coast life, do some great eating. There's some great golf on the Gulf Coast.
There is.
Whether you're Mississippi, Louisiana, coming in anywhere, you don't have to be at Fallen Oak. Generally, that's not the one you're playing when you're down there anyway.
You're right,
unless you got the right hookups and you're staying at the Beau Rivage. But for a weekend, for a golf weekend, go see the champions and spend the weekend on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, they've got some stuff going on at Shell Landed as well this week. I think they've got a junior tournament or something going on there, or a teaching event there that somebody's given. So I think Shell Landed is a great course in itself down there too. But you're right, there are so many good golf courses around that area that you can go and spend a load of time down there.
Speaking of junior golf, quick shout out, Gator Invitational, Luke Abney, Chase Bryan, and the guys a couple weeks ago. I guess this was last weekend, Stuart. They have put together the Gator Invitational, sprung up as sort of an organic Mississippi tournament for the top juniors, and has now become one of the top invitational fields for juniors in the entire country. Thornberry won it a couple times. Wilson Furr won it. Both of those guys, big time college stars. Thornberry now on the web.com tour.
Yeah.
But they've done a great job of putting it together. It was a great weekend over there. The two kids who won it, I say kids, 14, 15 years old. They're freshmen in high school. They're committed to the University of Alabama. They also went around twice in about 68, 66. I think it was 8 under, 7 under. Kid from Hilton Head won the event, Jonathan Grizz, and really a great show of junior golf. And so as a shout out to everybody who put together the Gator.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'm going to ask you a question here and put you on the spot with this one because this one's coming out of the blue. All right, two kids, 14 years old, 15, 16 years old, committed already to Alabama. How is that? How can they get in there? How can they be talked into? They don't know what they're doing. They're not having an input. And it's this whole thing about college sports in there that I find is alien to me, not being born in this country, and no other country has the same sort of sports scholarships to get into university. And you get everything paid. You get the full scholarship if you're in sports, and just seems to me that it's kind of wrong. What if the guy doesn't want to play golf next year and feels like he's got to go carry on playing so he can get this? And
it is a good question, and it's one that's been asked to me a couple of times since I went out to the Gator. And when tell people, and you give the accolades of these kids, I just know that it does happen more in golf. I feel like than in other sports. In that early of a commitment. Now, and you make a great point that even just the idea of committing at all is in any sport is foreign to sort of those of us not really associated with big time sports. I would venture to say though that the numbers are a lot smaller in golf. The guys who are really sort of SEC caliber players, and you may know it sooner. Whereas in football, guys get offers, as a freshman and high school kids, but I think there's still a lot more to shake out. I think the guys who are good enough right now are like already good enough, if you know what I mean. I mean, the elite players, they're good enough to compete on the PGA Tour. A guy in Braden Thornberry, I mean, is a great example. Competed in the PGA Tour when he was a junior in college.
I can just preface it by, and maybe I'm going too deep into this, but I can preface this. I look at Michelle Wie, how young she was, how she was pushed and pushed and pushed. I'm sure Michelle Wie would have been a great on the LPGA Tour, but she went searching for distance to compete with men. She did other things. Kids who are pushed into these things too early. I think about the young girl, is it Lucy Liu or whatever? She's 12 years old or something, playing in PGA Tour events, giving an exemption by the USGA because she did a commercial which is absolutely against all the rules of the USGA, but they just waive it because she is what she is,
I think it's a fair question. I think it's a good observation and a legitimate concern. I would think for everybody. Now the one thing is they haven't signed, so they've committed. They can say, this isn't for me anymore. But I think you hit the nail on the head, and it's a problem in junior golf throughout. Burnout. These kids are so good, and it's all about golf so early that it's a fair question to ask. Or is it what that does for the outside pressures, the heaven forbid the joy of the game? No, I think you're spot on. I think it's certainly, and maybe we'll cue it up in Tough Lies, in the weeks to come, because it's certainly. I mean, I can think of constant men's. The guys who were really touted as other than Tiger Woods, Ty Tryons and Charles Howells of the world, it worked against them. In so many ways. So
and I think more it does. I think it seems to more work against them than for them. It's the exception it works for.
I agree with you. What's on your punch-out list? Anything?
My punch-out list here. We don't have a lot going apart from that little tournament called the Masters coming up.
3 weeks.
Yeah. 2 weeks today is Masters Monday.
Yeah, that's right. 2 weeks.
Right from this day, they'll be there, Masters Monday. And the only bad thing about it is the darn music.
So we're gonna have to play it where it lies on the show, and I'm told that we're gonna be limited in how much of the actual Masters music we can use in a theme, but that's okay.
That's okay
because I'll supply it. If not, we'll just go.
I can hum it.
And I think we'll cue up like the other voices in the studio.
That sounded better.
You better get ready. We're coming full blast, like organic Masters theme recreation.
Yeah.
But it is exciting though. I was worried that we were starting to say the Masters was like next week. It's actually 2 weekends in April. I guess like April 11th through the 14th. But that's going to be exciting. It'll give us a couple of shows to gear up and get ready for what is undoubtedly the best week in golf every year.
It's a lot of fun that week. A lot of fun. It gets everybody outside of the game of golf gets up for the Masters. Everybody's watching the Masters or talking about it or listening to it or whatever. So that's a big psych. That's a good punch out for me for this week.
Well, we're glad you're watching and listening and playing us. You can do it again every week. Play It Where It Lies, a Bash Brothers Media Golf Show. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Podbean and all of your podcast platforms. And of course, we're Real Golf and Real Golf Talk. Stuart the Gent Conway.
Go Wiener.
Play it where it lies.
Yes, sir.
Join us next week.
Real golf, real golf talk. Play it where it lies. A Bash Brothers Media golf show.